Welcome to another Sunday night flight with Kazaki Flyer 66 on this beautiful St. Patrick's Day. So, of course, on St. Patrick's Day, we return to the home island where most of us can, at least a lot of us, can trace our roots to, me being one of them. Uh, we're presently at the airfield at Donegal. Let's see if we can turn the camera on here and turn around. There's the scenery here at Donegal Airport. It's kind of it's a small airport, but it's very nicely built. It's one of the more challenging approaches in Ireland. The wind here is incredible. Today it's, let's see, currently at 196 and 16 knots. So we'll have to back taxi all the way back down here to where Colonel Fork is landing to taxi for takeoff. But the first thing we've got to do, our chariot of choice tonight, of course, is the Grumman Wildcat. And on the other side of the pond, they knew it as the Martlet. It's a very rugged, built by the Ironworks little fighter. I've got 60 or 70 hours in this thing. Let's see, by the Hobbs meter, let's see. It's 71 hours is what we've got in the machine. So we're a little bit familiar with this little aircraft. Oh, Colonel Fork has landed. It says he's in the Tiger. He must be in the other Tiger, the other new F5 that's on the market, or will soon be on the market, which I was a big fan of the Tiger. The Tiger 2, I'm going to have to pick it up anyway. I've already got one Tiger 2. Can't have enough. I just hope they'll give the same treatment to the payware. Of course, we're on the East USA server. If you'd like to join us here at Donegal, with the name of the ICAO code for the airfield is EIDL, Echo India Delta Lima, is where we're at. That's where we're starting our adventure tonight. We're going to go from, this is just a little tour of the east coast side of Ireland. We're going to go from Donegal here. We're going over to Belfast in Northern Ireland. That's actually got an English ICAO code in it. That's at EGAC. We'll either do a full stop landing or a touch and go there, depending on the time. And from EGAC, we're going to proceed down to EIME, Casement Aerodrome, a very famous home of the Irish Air Corps in Ireland. You might say it's kind of a home away from home for those of us fireflies who have ventured out on our own. Okay, from Casement at Baldonnel, we're going to travel south over some hills and such to a airport on the coast, Waterford, Echo India Whiskey Foxtrot, and from Echo India Whiskey Foxtrot, we're going to Cork, Echo India Charlie Kilo. And so yeah, we've got a couple of stops on today, but we just want to take a good look at Ireland and celebrate the fact that we're all Irish today. No, I don't care where you're from. Everybody's Irish today. And our bit rate has gone into the bathtub again. Hopefully it'll settle down and get better here. At least right for right now, I don't have to worry about being on comms, so I don't have to worry about talking into two different microphones. Let's get inside the aircraft here. Now, the first thing we do, something that doesn't need power, I'm going to reach down here, and we've got our wings folded right now to save space if we were in a cramped parking lot or on a in the hangar deck of an aircraft carrier. But to fly, we need to spread our wings. So there they go. You can hear them clunk into place. Okay, I've already selected. I'm going to carry as much gas as I can. You'll notice in the external view here, you can see I'm carrying a belly tank. I've got one on each side. They're suspended from the wing roots, just inboard of where the wings fold. So we'll have a little bit of gas for tonight. We need to make sure everything's ready to go here. See, we want to change our gas tank. Well, there we go. Get it selectable. There we go. We're going to go to left external. Check to make sure our mixture's working. How's our throttle doing? Okay, good there. While we're looking, we're going to trim give it a little bit of up trim so that the nose wants to climb. Okay, how's our prop pitch looking? There we go. There's full feathered. You can actually see the props move as we adjust it. The pitch changes outside. Okay, while we're looking here, we're going to turn our magnetos on. Let's see, right, left, both magnetos. We're not going to turn on our emergency fuel pump. We shouldn't need it. Mixture set to rich. Let's go ahead and open our cowl flaps here. We wouldn't want to overheat our engine. Although I think today in Ireland we'd have to worry about staying warm, not getting cool. Go ahead and get our other stuff turned on here so that it'll be ready when power comes on. Turn lights on. Okay, there's our lights on. We don't have our internal lights on, but that's okay. We're hoping to make this most of a day flight. And we can always change the time a couple of minutes to give us a chance to turn those lights on later if it starts to get too dark. Okay, we want to turn our generator on. Now we're going to activate the power for the system. Battery coming on. See, our avionics are also coming on at the same time. We don't have a separate switch to turn them on separately tonight. Okay, we need to start priming our engine. Now, as we get it primed, it's going to get a little bit more reluctant to go pump. Okay, that's about it. One more. There we go. Now, we're going to, just in case we might need it later, we're going to turn our COM frequency to 122.8. That's our Unicom frequency. So if we need it, we can chat with people on the Unicom. I don't think we'll need it tonight, but it's handy to know that we can set it up for that way. Okay, there's 122.8. That's the Unicom on VATSIM, and since we're a simulator. Now, if we had a transponder number, we'd go set it right over here. And we want to keep our gas tank, so we need to keep these covers down and locked. Okay, that's got most everything taken care of here. Open the canopy a bit more. Come on. Lean out a little bit. If I had a Toby eye, I could do this. But since I don't dare use my eye tracker because my head wobbles too much and it jerks me around and I can't see. So we lean out the window and we go clear prop, and we hit the starter button. In most martlets, this would be two 10-gauge shotgun shells that were mounted just outside the engine, and when you push the switch, it would fire the shotgun shells into the manifold, and that would spin the solenoid and the starter switch to get your cylinders firing. See if it'll work. Oh, there we go. We're going to leave our cockpit glass open on the ground here as we kick our feet into position. Look around us. I see another martlet behind us. Colonel Fork has switched out of the Tiger 2 and into something more appropriate. Let's see. We need a ground crewman to come pull our chocks away. There they go. Hold the brake on the left side. Give it some power to spin around. We start our taxi. This taxi is a bit uphill. Got to give it a little bit more power. Now, if we can do this right, we'll get up here, turn right onto the runway. We want to hold short here a second, hold our brakes, look left, nobody on approach to the right. Okay, let's back taxi down to the other end of the runway. Nice and gentle turn here. Don't want to get too aggressive. The tail wheel casters. It'll spin you around if you get careless with it. Okay, we don't want to be on the center line. We don't want to people to think that we've just landed. You have to back taxi on the runway. There's really not any room on the sides of the runway. Both sides have ditches to wallow around in if you're of a mind. Colonel Fort taxiing behind us. Got to pay attention or lose control of your aircraft here. While the Martlet has a narrow undercart that retracts into the belly, so it waddles like a duck. Ooh, the windsock actually agrees with the wind today. The METAR is saying 196 and or so, and the sock is actually saying the same thing. How about that? Some days they don't agree. Today we get lucky and they do. Stay on the runway. Is a turnaround here at the end of this runway. I think we're going to try to use it. It's on the other side. Turn that way. Whoops, swung too far. Got to give Colonel Forks some room to get turned around here. I'm glad somebody's addressed that, patched that. I think that came out in the buggy little dune patch. We were having a problem in multiplayer with the wings showing folded in the Wildcat. And not anymore. They're all nice and straight out, like they should be. Wonderful. I am really happy to see that. Let me get back inside here. There's our flight plan. Okay, let's check our map right here before we get active and see how high we're supposed to go. They recommend, they think 4,500 feet is going to be plenty. All the way across Ireland here. So that's where we're going to go. Not so high we can't see anything, but high enough we're going to clear the mountains around here. Okay, we want to sit up in our seat a bit. Peek over the nose. Now we're going to start bringing the power in here. And here we go. Nose coming up, or tail coming up. More power. 100 knots. And we're up in the air. A little bit more up on the trim. Still wants to nose drop. Let's go again, get that gear cranked up here. 28 turns on the hand crank, folks. You're going to get a strong right arm from cranking this thing. No electrical crank here. You got to do it by hand. That's down there, this hand crank right here. After taking off, Wildcats and Bartlett's had a maneuver known as the wheels up bob. That's where they would bounce with each turn of the crank. Okay, pull our RPMs back to about 2,500 as we turn around here. Trim her up a little bit more so we start to climb. There are some nice visual guides here around Donegal. That little hill mountain is one of them. Okay, there's 500 feet a minute. So we can trim up for that. No, not 1,000, 500. There, let's try that. Yeah, there we go. Okay, I see our course line is now, we turn this way to our right. Oh, I'm lazy. I have a GTN 750 on my trusty iPad pocket here. I'm going to use it. Bring our heading around to more of where we want to go. Autopilot, yeah, we know. I want to come up to 4,500 feet. Start climbing at a nice sedate 500 feet a minute. That'll put us at about 190 knots per climb. Get that closure rate up a little bit. It also keeps us away from this mountain here. We can close that window now. It's getting a bit breezy. Also quiets the plane down just a little bit. Well, hey, Viper Strike. I haven't seen it be buggy with me yet, so I'm sorry to hear that it's still a bug out there in multiplayer. But like tonight, I'm just happy that it's not a bug. I think it's beautiful that our wings are out and put up. Good evening, Viper Strike. Welcome aboard. We just left Donegal. There's plenty of time to pop in and take off. We're only doing we're going to cruise at about 200 knots. once we get to 4,500 feet tonight. We're going from Donegal to Belfast, Belfast down to Casement Aerodrome, the home of the Irish Air Corps, and from Casement we're going down to Waterford and then over to Cork. The first thing on our list, of course, is Belfast, the town where they built the Titanic. Matter of fact, some of the big cranes they used to move the metal around in those in the construction yards are still there. They call them Samson and Goliath. If we're really brave, we might take the Wildcat and try to thread the needle. No promises, but they're there if we want to. Usually not that brave, but the Wildcat gives me confidence. The plane is up to it. Whether the pilot is that's a different case. Okay, adjust our heading back to course here. Remembering a 16-knot wind, at least at ground level. Okay, we're right at 4,200 feet now. Doing 180 knots indicated. 210 ground speed. Pull the throttle back a little bit more. There, now our manifold pressure is reading about 25 and our RPM's 2,500. How's our temperatures looking? Pretty good so far. We'll just leave the cowl flaps open where they are, just in case. There, we've drifted off course again. Pay attention. There's a helipad down there somewhere. I would expect it's at the hospital. Apparently we're not the only ones flying in Ireland tonight. It's St. Paddy's Day. What do you expect? Well, just in case. Come on. There. I do like the second one better. It also gives me a reference point when making a landing. Right about there's the perfect viewpoint to land on a carrier deck. You get just enough of your gun sight to keep your aircraft centered, and enough of a look over the nose to let you know if you're on your right glide slope. Just in regular flight like this, though, that's what you want to see. Okay, a couple more degrees. We'll zero in on this course line sooner or later here. Okay, I'm not familiar with all the ICAO codes in our flight sim anymore. Got so many add-ons to keep track of. Okay, fellas, what's the A306. I'd expect it's an Airbus at 29,000 feet. I'm just not sure which Airbus. A300. That's what I would think. Ah, the A300, 600. Thank you, Colonel Fork. I'm glad somebody knows. I'm just guessing. This countryside is beautiful. I don't care what anybody thinks. This is some of the prettiest country in the world. And for all we talk about how wet and rainy Ireland is, it is, but it's also green and growing in the springtime because it gets so much rain. There's plenty of moisture for the plants. Ooh, Dublin to Dulles. That's nice. Should have gone ahead and flown into Reagan National. That would have put you flying down the river. Hey, martlets. Martlets are so nice to see. And our proximity detector, of course, shows us the plane, but it won't show us the name tag when you're real close. There's something for their list. Their LOD pilot doesn't quite show, at least at this distance. Let's see if I've got my avatars in. Colonel Fort's got Space Ghost flying his plane. Hop inside again and adjust our heading as we fly through this nasty little cloud. No ice, no ice, no ice. Ice is for an alcoholic beverage on a day like today, not for wings. Let's see, we're lined up, dead on course. Let's see how far the wind blows us off. At least our lights are visible. Never get tired of seeing just how pretty this island is. We have some beautiful country here in the United States. There's something about Ireland that just screams, come home, come home. What's nice is I'm not even having to push buttons and get distracted with music, although I can, now that I'm on autopilot. Okay, she is blowing us off course a bit. As long as we can stay relatively close, we won't get too lost. And 43 more miles to Belfast. See if I can get this right. Wrong island, but we'll play it anyway. Wait a minute. We'll change our mind at the last second. Just remember where we put it. Nope, not there. That's not where I thought I had it. How about that? Yeah, that's it. Way up there out of reach is a dark star. Somebody taking a helicopter tour. And looks like a whole bunch of people down around Dublin. That wind's getting a little bit out of control here. Let's see what the METAR says for Belfast before we get too tangled up. Wind says, or the METAR says, 205 knots. So that would give us runway 22. So out over the bay and back in. We're 31 miles out. Hope everybody's been practicing their ATC stuff for tomorrow's course. I've practiced, but it's not made me any smoother. Well, the Viper Strike, it was a different age. We've been spoiled by rapid transit and rapid gratification for everything. Back then, ocean liners were the quickest thing around, but you could still relax and take your time going someplace. see what's up here. On the map is... The line goes over the name on the map. I can't read it. This is... I can't... I am not going to try to pronounce that. That's in Gaelic, and I can't read Gaelic, let alone pronounce Gaelic. But it's a lake. You're probably correct, Colonel Fork. That's the way it looked, but I'm not going to try. I know better. Hey, look, I'll take a chance on the Native American names around here, but I'm not going to take a chance with Gaelic. And there goes a 767 over our heads. Does it count as a St. Patrick's Day stream if you only fly over Ireland? I would think you'd have to at least land here. Uh-oh, she's about to do her thing. We're about to have a network hiccup. Yeah, I'm showing an unstable connection to Twitch here, so don't worry, Colonel Fork. It may be on my end. But, yep, there it goes. Everybody blinked out. Ever since we had a power outage the other night. Ever since, it's been kind of flaky. Normally, it's a pretty strong, good, solid pipeline. Now, there's an unsurprise now, isn't it? MS servers? Oh, no, they'd never be unstable. No. Remember, they fixed multiplayer. Oh, no. Porcupustic. Make sure you kill off your FSUIPC. That has been the biggest hang-up for me the past few months. There's an airport down there off to our right. Ah. I do like the LRM feature. I just don't like what FSUIPC does to us to get it. I'm currently running LRM, but if it starts to hiccup and stutter, it's gone. Reach down to that mini panel and kill it off. Unfortunately, after you kill it off, you can't bring it back. So until you restart your sim, you can't have it back. Hey, we're 12 miles from Belfast. We are going to cross the bay. Oh, that's Captain Arash down there at Dublin. Awesome. Everybody wave at Captain Arash from up here at Belfast. We're going to be going down that way. He probably won't still be in the air. There's Colonel Fork back with us. Captain Arash is one of the great legends, and his navigation skills just cannot be beat. Hey, let's kill that autopilot and take control back of our aircraft. All I need is the map. You can almost see the Titanic building from here. It's so big. Drop some power and start our way down. Add some down trim as we go. We're far enough out we can do a more direct. We won't have to do a full circuit here. We can go out and around and in. But we would definitely want to call Belfast Tower at this time. And definitely Belfast Approach. We'd have been on with horn with them but 30 miles ago. Oh, the call. See if we can get down low enough here. We're dropping through 2,200 feet. Surprised I can't see the cranes from here. And I can't barely see Belfast itself, or the airport. And most of our usual crowd, or Two Tones' usual crowd, they're down with Captain Arash down there. I'm grateful for Colonel Fork wasting some time with me tonight as we tour Ireland. There they are. Now I see them. Okay, time to be silly and brave. These are some big cranes, so you don't have to really get low, but it helps to get as low as you can. Make sure you keep enough power in so you don't stall. And whoop, here we go. And we made it. And we didn't die. How about that? Yay! I've seen your pictures from the Persian Gulf, Colonel Fort. Awesome pics. Well done with the CH-47. And Kabustik, you're one of the better pilots in our community, so don't let what other people tell you where you. You're great. Make sure we carry enough speed out here. As we went under those cranes, we passed by the Titanic Museum. There's the airport. There's the end of the runway. We want to keep going out here for just a couple more bits. Start reducing power. Our gear doesn't deploy to 150. There we go. Start cranking. Oops, there it goes. Put some power back in to make up for the drag of the wheels. Start the turn. Keep turning here. A little bit of rudder might help. Just about timed it right. Pick our sights up and add a notch or add the flaps. You cannot have a notch. All or nothing with the Wildcat. $120 and falling. Want to keep it right at about 110 until we get over the threshold. Okay, 250 feet, more than enough. A bit more power. You don't want to descend too much, 200 feet. Under 50 feet. Clear the trees. Under knots. $50 feet. Hold it, hold it. There, we're over the runway. Chop throttle. Bump. A good Navy landing. If you can roll away from a good Navy landing, you're doing good. Here you can see the cranes on the horizon that we flew under. I shouldn't need to, really, but because I'm on the ground here, I am going to fully take advantage of the facilities, and I'm going to get more gas. Hey, where is the fuel here? I do not have the map memorized. You have made a grave error. Oh, we passed it. It's off to our left. There's a spit. Hello, friend. Bring it around. Where's that gas pump? There it is. How do we get to it? Nope, that's not the gas. Well, yeah, it is. I hope the hose is long enough. Okay, fill her up. Ah, good. We did get it right. Yep. Fill up that tank again. And it's a hot fuel. Don't splash it, boys. Pull our flaps back in here. We'll head back down to runway 22 here. We shouldn't need the whole length to get back in the air. Winds are pretty gusty. Turning left is not my strong suit. How much is left? That should be enough. If it were the deck of the Enterprise, I'd know exactly that's enough. Turn her into the wind and I'm ready to go. The Fork has opted not to make a stop at Belfast here. Just plug in casement onto your dial and let's go on to casement. Wait till that tail lifts up. Oops, there we go. And just in time. There was just enough runway. Ha! Start doing the bob and weave as we raise our gear. Start our climb back up to 4,500 feet. There's Kapustik and Old Reliable. Good old Rolls-Royce engine. The classy engine. Got to watch Jerry from Big Jet TV. He took a tour of a Connie down in Australia. One of the last flying super Connies in the world. And they did a test run on number 4 engine for him. And man, that sound good. More importantly, Jerry just gushed and gushed over that airplane. He got the works treatment. And then they took him on a tour of a 747-400. And that was almost even more amazing than the Connie was. That's a beautiful airplane, the 747-400. Getting off the beaten path here. Reach down and turn the Sperry back on. Gently, 500 feet per minute is fine. Want to go to 4,500. We only got another about 1,500 feet to go. Back to the map. Where are you trying? Oh, that's where it's trying to go. Wants to go to the last setting. So we do the bob and weave as we find our course. Yeah, I saw where you'd posted the wings over the Gulf. That was, watching some of those tornadoes on their runs it makes even the Mach Loop look tame. Well, hello, Cowbell Cody. We saw you over Northern Ireland up here. Right now, we're heading down the east coast of Ireland toward Casement Aerodrome, just outside of Dublin. And from there, we're going down to Westerford and then over to Cork. It's St. Patrick's Day, so we might as well visit Ireland. This is such a pretty place. What's nice about flying in Ireland, there's an airport every couple of miles. So you can join in here. You're never way out in the desert, like out in the middle of the Pacific and 400 miles from the nearest airport. Flying around here is like flying in it's like flying in Europe. The villages are only a couple of miles apart. You got an open field, you've got a place to land. And if it's a bigger field, you've got a place to take off. Get the camera around here so folks can see that Spitfire. Ah, that's one of the Spitfires from late August 1944. Well, actually, that's early August. She's still got stripes on the top of her wings, but only half stripes on the tail. After August of 1944, the stripes were only on the bottom of the wing. From down here. They didn't put them on the top, or they painted over the tops once. Compared to the Wildcat, the Spitfire looks so elegant. A Wildcat, just a blunt object. This is not a dagger. This is a blunt object. It's just going to hit you till you drop. The Spitfire is going to zip in, poke you really hard, and disappear. Now, Kabusnik, if you've got an account with Parallel 42 or Got Friends, I think it's Got Friends that have the avatar, the War Pilot's avatar package. It's not expensive. It's only like $5 or $6, but it is so worth it. Come on. Like the avatar I'm using right now, he's actually an RAF pilot. Tell by that oxygen mask and goggles. I think you're pretty much right with that comparison, Colonel Ford. After the way I drive my AMC Javelin in Forza, I'd really have to agree with you. It's a blunt object. All go. Finesse, turning, nah, we don't need that. We're going in a straight line, and we're going as fast as we can. Hey, we are 59 nautical miles out of the casement. Let me look up the METAR for casement in case anybody needs a drink of fuel or needs a bio break, which I'm going to probably use and take advantage of. So yeah, we're gonna put a landing in at casement, and the METAR for casement is showing 220 at 14 knots. Wind prefers runways 22 and 28. Okay, we'll use runway 22, which makes us have a nice loop over downtown Dublin as we come back into casement. Now, I haven't installed my Orbix Christmas scenery, so you're going to notice a few things around Dublin. Christmas trees, snowmen. I think they've got some Christmas presents and some yard light stuff. Yeah, I'm just not a big helicopter fan. I haven't squeezed the trigger on the CH-47 yet. I'm going to wait till they give it a couple more patches and work out some of the bugs. Then I may give the trigger a squeeze and see about adding that to the list of aircraft to be able to see in sim. It took me forever to buy the Osprey. Although I am kind of anxious to get my hands on a really nice Huey. The freeware one was great, but with the new, they're not new. We've had in-sim helicopters for over a year now. So maybe they're getting used to that flight model, or an attempt at a flight model. Maybe somebody will adapt that to our good classic Huey. Good old UH-1. There's a reason it's number one. Especially with that good rotor slap. That's the one thing about a Huey. You could hear that thing for miles and miles and miles. You knew exactly what helicopter was coming. This wasn't a Bell Jet Ranger. This wasn't a Bell or a Hughes 500. Nope, this was a Huey. And you knew it. Well, the Chinook is kind of, if you think of it, it's supposed to be kind of like the P-38. The propellers are counter-rotating, so they cancel each other out. So all you should get is lift. Your lift and your thrust from your rotor blades. You shouldn't get any torque out of them. Oh, you're a veteran of Pendleton? I've gone through Pendleton. I never stayed there. I'm impressed with how much. Boy, have we drifted off course here. Let's get where? Oh, we're way over here. Of course, we're staying over land. That's nice. We'll find Dublin. Don't worry. We're not going to get too lost. Now we're going to do a little VFR cloud dodging, even though we are IFR. I'm more interested in avoiding the ice. Unless it's in my drink, I don't want to deal with it. Yeah, Cody, this is between Belfast and Dublin is some of the prettiest country on the island of Ireland. Now, mind you, the area around Birr is really nice, and the Foyne and Shannon are extremely beautiful. And the trip up the Shannon River, that's legendary. That's epic. But this is grand. There's a nice on ramp for any truck sim fans. One thing I am impressed with is at least Microsoft Flight Sim gives us the options to, if your pilot is a female, you can have a female avatar for a change. You know, it doesn't have to be a male avatar. And locally, I think the closest Army base to me is Redstone. I was lucky during my land. That's where I did some of my land navigation exercises. Was deep in the backwoods of Redstone, between the base and the river. Now, might remind yourself, this was back in 1982 and 84, 85, 86. That's when I was in ROTC and learning our land navigation. And they had us trot from bunker to bunker. They wouldn't tell us what was in the bunkers, but we weren't idiots. We knew what was in those bunkers. This was right after Ronald Reagan's SALT treaty talks, and they pulled all the Pershings out of Europe. They sent them one place. They didn't want to get rid of them. They wanted them ready to reattach at the moment's notice. So they just put them in storage. Didn't tell anybody about them. But if you're on the middle of a base and they know you're out there, and then they see a bunch of kids in uniform run up to a bunker and touch the door. The real fellow in the green suit pops out and says, "Hello, and could you please step away from the door?" Of course, we knew his M16 was loaded. The most we had was blanks. His were not. Hey, we're 32 miles out of Dublin. We're out of Casement. Dublin's a bit closer. All the things in Flight Sim that they have added, you'd think they could fix the camera so that it wouldn't rotate about its axis when you're not using it. I've noticed if you're using a controller to control your camera, it does the same thing. Well, this is still so much better than we ever had before. Boom. Went the dynamite. Call that up and have it ready to go for our next leg. And to me, that's just epic. See the rivers going up into the countryside, the clouds around us. Colonel Fork's pushing it on in there. We're doing right at 200 knots. .500 RPM solid. Temperatures are all good. Couple of degrees to the left here, a little bit more towards Dublin itself. See all the other aircraft gathered at EIDW, that's Dublin International. Yep, you're darn right there, Colonel Fork. It's definitely that time. I'm surprised my meds have let me last this long. I gotta admit, the T-38 has been spoiling me with its quick, rapid runs across countryside. You slow back down to the Cat, into some small GA aircraft, and you realize, man, this is going to take a while. Where the... No, I can't help but giggle. I can already see the snowman in Dublin. Oh, at least the lighting is going to be pretty for an approach to casement here. It's going to be, we're going to have to move the time after we take our bio break, so that we'll be flying in mostly daylight when we get to Cork. Cork is a nice, well-lit airport. We could probably land there in the dark. Not so sure about Westford. There's IEDW. You can see it from here. I don't have the scenery that's got the new runway. We're going to start our descent now. We're going to take her by, let the autopilot take us down. I want to go to 1,200 feet. Thank you. Taking it down at 800 feet a minute. Pull our throttle back. And down we go. If there's one day a year you can count on there being plenty of traffic in Ireland, today is it. All the Orbic scenery do look weird out there, especially from this distance, this high altitude. Giant Christmas trees, huge snowmen. Even Calvin couldn't build a snowman that big, although I think he would try. But you can bet it'd be 1/6 snowman. Knowing Calvin, it'd probably be doing something really strange, too. Oh, Skip. Thank you, Asobo. Give me a good scare. Acoustic, if you want to go ahead and land, go ahead. We will be doing a full stop here at Casement and using their facilities down over at Ops. So if you want to go ahead and take her in, go ahead. Lights for the light in the beacon light at Casement's going to be hard to spot. Okay, we're just about online right now, so we're going to go ahead and take control here. There you go. That's nice. Start your turn. Go to the candy cane, turn right. And do not, and go on past the presents and the stars. Hope the winds are still holding 2-2. And here we come in toward Casement. Okay, gear drop. Start cranking. Crank, 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 crank. Put some power back in. We don't want to start dropping too much. Can't quite see it there. There's Kapustik and Colonel Fork ahead of us. Guessing Colonel Fork's already down. Good spot for spawning, Cowbell Cody. That's a great spot. We're going to take a break here, and this will let you get your cockpit squared away. I hope you've got Jeppesen 2001 scenery that's available at twotonemurphy.com for casement, because it's brilliant. This is one of the first and best sceneries he's done, although Falcon Field outshines it. Okay, there's the cell phone antenna. I can see the operations building, but I'm having the sun is lined up right on with me in the runways here. There it is. Now I can see it. Okay, that's 2.8. We'll just go ahead and use 2.8. Give us a little bit longer taxi to back to the airdrome, but this carrier approach in. Try to do this flapless here. Cut the throttles. Bounce. A little bit of a crosswind. Don't use the whole runway here. Just take this high speed and start our way back to the casement. Go to the bathroom. Make ourselves useful. Use the available of the facilities here. I was hoping to use runway 22, but with the way the sun was bouncing off things, I was lucky I found 2.8. Yeah, this is casement. It's right outside of Dublin. Dublin proper anyway. I'm sure the sprawl extends out this far anyway. Only the fact that casement was here first is only the thing keeping the sprawl from conquering this area. So if you don't have this scenery, you can get it for free at twotonemurphy.com. I see Kapustik hovering, so that's a sure indication that you don't have the scenery. You'll see why it's so. You got to remember, this was built within the first 6 months of us having the simulator. This isn't just yesterday. This was 3 years ago. And look at the strides the sim has made since. Here's one of the junkers that was used to make the first multi-crew transatlantic crossing. It's between the hangars there. Got ground crewmen walking back and forth. We've made the turn a bit too hard. We need to go to left here. We're just going to use this center parking zone. All right, right there. And put some chocks in. Crank the canopy open. The other way. All the way. Excuse me. Hello, Moon. Not far to jog into base ops here. So we're going to leave you for just a second while we make our bio break. We're leaving our engine running. We'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. I didn't have any alcoholic beverages adult beverages to rearm tonight. If I had, there's no telling, I probably wouldn't have been in any kind of condition to fly with you folks. We want to thank Casement for the use of their facility, something fighter planes have just not quite ever been equipped to deal with. That's one thing I will give the tubes. You gotta go. You got a bathroom in the back. What those things are good for. One thing I was tickled by was, well, I'm not tickled by it. I'm sad that some people got hurt during it. But that flight in the 787, the LATAM 787, somebody bumped that control yoke. It's a Boeing. You bump the control yoke, the autopilot will disconnect. And if she's trimmed down, she'll go down. And in this case, a downdraft microburst will not help. Okay, well, we can start start taxiing over to 22. Release our brakes. Well, since we've got a couple of people here who haven't seen this before, this is one of the neater tricks. Well, we just missed the cycle. Pop the brakes on for just a minute here. There. So we can wander around without hurting things. Get our camera out here. Look at the detail inside these hangars. Got a nice little Bonanza and an old Cessna. And some folks working on some stuff. Nice tool racks. And over here inside this hangar, this one's empty. We go across to the next hangar. Okay, and there up on the wall, we've got our Fireflies and Two-Tones symbol and Jeppesen 2001 symbol. So he's been here. Got a couple of PC-12s. Big wire spool here being used as a table. We come back outside. There's the tower over there. Oh, the hangar doors are open. Let's scoot across to this hangar. Celebrating the 100th anniversary of the Irish Air Corps. Another PC-12. Look at the shine on that floor. Somebody's been running a buffer. You can even park your aircraft in here in Bay 3. And they're on a timer. Those doors will close. We've got fire trucks here, a couple of salt trucks, runway inspectors, the pickups. And there's our classic junkers that made our transatlantic flight. Wide showing 2. Oh, I need to kill off one scenery, I think. I've updated it and probably didn't kill off the second scenery. We'll scoot back over here to our aircraft. And release our chocks. Let's see if we can get over the runway 22 without ground looping or running over anybody. This is the Grumman Iron Works. We can stand to run over a little grass. There's Colonel Fork's Wildcat, Martlet beside us. Okay, this is runway 22. All right. get airborne before the battery decides to crap out on us. Oh, if you're on the ground in this aircraft, keep your RPMs up to about 1,300. Hey, you may have to get your chocks pushed in and set your parking brake, but you need to keep your RPMs up, keep your battery charged. I've had it drain and run out. And there's power coming in. Nice wide runway here. Tail coming up. Under knots. And up we go. Start cranking. Keep climbing here. Nice positive rate. I'm not dodging my course here. Just actually dodging a bit of terrain here. Follow the road. The road's trying to avoid the hill too. One of the main thoroughfares out of Dublin, so you can see it's a pretty good sized 6-lane highway here. Probably narrows down to about 4 lanes in a bit, but right now it's 6. Okay, now we want to close our windscreen. We're climbing up to 4,500 feet again. And on down to Waterford, or Westford. Pronounce it correctly. Waterford, not Westford. Waterford, EIWF. Mr. Autopilot, take control for us. Nice gentle 500 feet a minute climb. And click that heading button. And there we go. Now we can head back to our course line. Kapustik and Colonel Ford. Mr. Cody here, Cowboy Cody with us. Awesome. Almost got a half squadron here. Definitely enough for a finger 4. Back to the map. Map. There. Don't want to go too far. Want to get to our course line, but not too far. Start straightening her out here. Now this is some of the most epic scenery in Ireland. I don't know if they call it lake country or what. This is absolutely beautiful. Bridges, got the hills in the background, big lake. Little spits of land between locks of the lake. I'm just glad the IJN never found this place. there's, well, I know a certain place this reminds me of. I mean, that really, that really looks like it. Now, if that wasn't a hill down there and a flat runway, I'd think this was a beyond coincidence spot. Luckily, the flattest place down there is that golf course. Hey, and out the window, not aviating. Wonder how deep that lake is. If it's deeper than 40 feet. I'm going to ask Murph the next time we stream from around here just how deep that lake is. Looks like another bunch has just left Dublin International, getting their airliner on. And they won't have to stop at Heathrow for a bio break. They're just going to be able to keep on going. Flying Iron sure did they hit a home run with that Spitfire. And since it's been released, they've tweaked it a couple of times and made the steering on the ground just a little bit easier. It's much easier to get in the air now. Unlike the Mustang, which wants to tear off across the field if the wind isn't straight into your nose. If there's any kind of crosswind, the Mustang is very unforgiving. Matter of fact, it's a death sentence. The Spit, not so much anymore. It can take a few knots of crosswind. Hope something bad didn't happen to Cody back there. Now it's not the time to need a mechanic. That, okay, that's Colonel 4. Let's see if Cody's just a couple of knots or miles back. Nope, we don't have him on TCAS anymore. He's back toward casement. Oh, gas change. I recognize that sound. When your engine loses power like that, switch tanks. She's still trying to climb here. What's wrong with my baby? Oh, why do you want to go? That's why. Be changed it and didn't put it back. Pilot error. Take her back down to 4,500 there. What's wrong with the view from up here at 6,000, but it's not where we wanted to fly today. There's Colonel Fork over off to our left, free-ranging around and looking for trains. That'd be something if 2024 added trains. And it doesn't have to be perfect, just give us a moving train on the tracks. Look, Jepson was able to do it, even in the what limits 2020 had. That's why we have the Hogwarts Express. Which, although it's not on this island, it's over on that other island across the water there. But that's a spectacular piece of scenery by Jepson. I think everywhere we go, there's something by Jefferson. And it is always worth checking out. Drop our airspeed back down to 200 indicated. At least till we get to the altitude we want. To 500 feet down we go. Although we haven't done that in a minute or two. Call the nearest weather station and request the barometric pressure. Adjust our barometer to such. And continue on with our flight here. Now, when we get to Waterford, I just hope there's no rabbits. This is Waterford, not Watership, so we should be okay. I'm sorry. Watership Down meets Monty Python. That should be an A24 movie. What a script. What a body count. Well, it's just a cute, harmless bunny. Uh-huh. Little white, fluffy bunny. Uh-huh. John Cleese jumps out with big, sharp, pointy teeth. Okay, there's 160. Put some power back in, get us back up to at least 180, 200 knots here. As we wiggle our way back and forth across our baseline. Tell the winds to cease and desist. But you can't have it dead calm everywhere. Now there's a weather station I don't think I'd like to, or a radio station I'd like to be doing the engineering for. Boy, that's lonely looking up there on the top of that mountain. But I'll bet you that transmitter reaches most of this island. There we go. Try to compensate for some wind here. Hope it works. They play these here too. This may not be dance music, but it's the music of home. Hey, we're 20 nautical miles outside of Waterford. This is really, we're timing the weather or the time of day for pretty good. I think it's only about another 30 miles down to Cork. Let me look and see here. 56. We'll adjust time as necessary. I want to see the land. I'm a pretty daylight VFR kind of guy. I can do night landings, but I'm not going to be too anxious to do it in a Wildcat. And night carrier operations aboard Enterprise? Nope. She was the first ship to have a night fighter contingent, but I'm not anxious to join that. Matter of fact, here at Waterford, I think we may just do a touch and go and zip on over to Cork. Now, I'm not going to be doing the organized approach to Cork like I will have to be doing tomorrow night. But at least the knowledge base is for it or in the computer up here, so we're at least covered by that base. Okay, 11 miles out. And we'll just go ahead and kill the autopilot and the flight director and just have our map up here. Okay, Waterford's in that little bay area up there. The river, sure enough, goes around it. We're just going to go straight in on 2-1. There, we can see it from here. Throttle back. Start spilling off altitude here. And while we spill altitude, we'll try to get lined up on the runway. All right. Start easing up on our stick here. I see lights. 160. We're almost to speed. Now we'll reach over and start cranking. There we go. We're drifting off our line here. Winds are pushing us over. Add some power back in. Notch our flaps. Here they come out. Touch here and scoot on down to court. Keep speed up. A little bit of right rudder to get us back online. Okay, we're at 300 feet. Colonel Fork has made his touch and go. – 250 feet. Stay out of the trees. Sit up a little bit. Keep that runway in sight. Down we go. Wind is still trying to be unfriendly here. Okay, now throttle back up. That's the touch. And there's the go. We're back up in the air here. Probably should have gone the other way with the wind like that. That was a bit breezy. Gear up. Flaps up. Now just gone down the coast to Cork. Happy St. Patrick's Day, you beautiful countryside. Hope everybody had a beautiful day today. Look at the beach there. If it wasn't March, I'd say that'd be the place to go. It hasn't even been springtime here. We're still waiting for false spring to end. We've got one more cold snap at least. Only 50 miles. We might be climbing up to 4,500 just to immediately descend. That's not unheard of. I've flown on a couple of airliner flights like that. Your end of climb is actually your TOD. Just a beautiful day for flying over Ireland. I see a silo down there. One thing that unites us is we all come from farm country. Even if you were born in the city, you come from farm country too. Maybe not you yourself, but your family sure has. And it's a bit of a conservative notion, but I think all young people should spend at least a summer out on working a farm. May not like it, but they can sure learn from it. I spent way too many summer times working a farm. And I determined right then that I'd never want to do it for a living. But there are times I kind of miss it. "44 miles to Cork." Nothing out there but the Irish Sea. Not quite the Atlantic, but just as bad. There, I got rid of my music so I can actually concentrate on aviating a bit here. So not as entertaining to everybody else. We're almost done here. Just a little bit longer to Cork. This way we've covered one end of Ireland to the other tonight. Let's check the METAR up here at Cork again. Okay, weather report for Cork says winds 230 at 7 knots. Scattered at 7,000. No, scattered at 700. Visibility unlimited. Barometer is 1,010 hectopascals. Just a little bit below standard 29.92. Not enough for a storm, but it's probably an indication that with the pressure dropping, it might be on the way. So with it, the wind's out at 2-3. We're going to take the crosswind on 3-4. Just got a ways to go to get there. 36 nautical miles. Cork's out there on doing his sub search. Got another Spitfire with it. We've picked up another Spitfire. Come on, there's more the merrier. Always room for more Spits. Don't think I've got that one. I think that's the Mark 1. Feel bad for Cowbell Coley. Cowbell Cody, he's way. I think we've lost him up at Casement. The shadows over the countryside are really making it pop out. Until the sim decides to do a hang up. Nope, the other way. Okay, 30 miles out. You got to put up with me for a little bit longer. Then we'll return you to what's left of your St. Patrick's Day. If you're in a position to, and it's not detrimental to your health, have one glass only. That won't hurt you. 20 glasses, that'll hurt you. But it won't hurt you to have one glass. Race it to the old sod. Be thankful that we live in a world that has Ireland in it. Well, if it's a freeware Spit, I think I might have to pick it up. I didn't buy the Mark 1 because I already had a great Spitfire in the Mark 9. I gets the bonanza. Ooh, a Boker F-28 up there, up at Dublin Night. Just because I don't fly them doesn't mean I don't like them. Love how pretty the F-28 looks. Reminds me of the old days. Well, thank you, Colonel Fort. Reminds me of the old days in the DC-9s. Oh, thank you, Twizgrit, I guess. You know, if I'm saying it, at least guessing correctly here. Glad you're just flying with us, man. The more the merrier. Not everybody has the Wildcat or the Flying Iron. Freeware is just as good. I fly a lot of freeware. You can sometime ask Kapustik about my freeware adventures. Especially since I found the T-38. That is a fun piece of freeware. It may be severely limited in its cockpit, but man, does it look pretty. Okay, 19 miles to go. Getting ready to start our way down here. That's one thing the Wildcat can do, is drop like a rock. And at least it's not the old days. In Combat Flight Simulator 1, you'd be all lined up on the flight deck with your wings folded, pretty as you please. There'd be 10 of you lined up on the flight deck, and somebody'd come in and collision was on in that simulator, and they'd take out all 10 of you. Just it'd be like a bowling ball in an alley. Boom, everybody's gone. And it spawn you right back in the air with your wings still folded. So you had to extend your wings before you hit the ground. Cigarettes, okay. Well, thank you, sir. It helps to know how to pronounce somebody's name correctly. Okay, so we're going to have to go out, round, and come back for runway 34. I guess you could do 16 if you wanted to. Technically, I think it'd be just as easy. But the runways here we have a choice of 16, 25, 34. Now, runway 25 would probably be the one to take. And 07, with the winds at 23, runway 25 might be best. Let's see, kill the autopilot. My airplane, please. Thank you for controlling during the cruise. And here we go. Map, please. Power back. And down we go. Just so happens that the sun is right in line with where we're going to try to land. So spotting the runway is going to be a tricky item. Trust your instruments. Trust your map. Down to 3,500. Feel like I'm driving the heart of gold here. 3,500 and falling. That's impossible. Oh, just very improbable. I don't know if runway 25 is lit. That's going to be the question. Yes, it is lit. Runway in sight. Start cranking. Give her the flaps. Crank past her. Ports on final. We're giving Kapustik a little bit of room for spacing here. Power back in here. Dropping our altitude a bit too fast. Here we losing sight of the runway over the hill. I don't think we want to run into the hill. There we're lined up. See how much the wind pushes. So we're taking it pretty much on the nose, so that should be some benefit. Hey, 700 feet above ground. Happy lights are telling us we're too low. There we go. There's the slope. And we're high and right. Bit low. I'll take though. Just clear the trees. There's clear the trees. And over the threshold, cut the throttles. And stomp on the brakes. Please take the next taxiway. In this case, the next runway. Use it back taxi. I don't have scenery for this airport. This is just as she's come with the simulator. Secret, more than welcome to fly along with us anytime you're with us. Everybody's welcome. We accept all skill levels, seeing how badly I am. I've made 4 landings tonight, and I'm actually very pleased with myself that I've actually made 4 landings tonight and not choked and ran into a tree or did a ground loop. We're just going to trot off into the grass here. There, now we get back onto the pavement so we don't get stuck. I don't know if Irish mud's any different than Alabama mud, but you don't want to get stuck in it. Mud here in Alabama has a reputation. It's a well-earned reputation. Flaps up. Around here and park up next to Colonel Fork's aircraft. As we watch the sun set. There. Put the chocks in. Now let's see if we can actually do this thing. Click. Colonel Fork had the same idea. Excellent. Of course, that may be mine. I pushed the button, so his did it too. But it's still beautiful. The push stick in the spit right next to us. Awesome. These are the planes that held the line and made it all worthwhile for the really fun stuff to come later. Well, hope everybody that stuck with us or tuned in has enjoyed our trip over the Irish Isles today and enjoyed our trip exploring Ireland on St. Patrick's Day. And we're going to see who's still on. I missed JW by about 30 seconds last week. Hoping I'm not going to miss anybody this week. Oh, that's the wrong mouse. Sparky Pilot's on. And we'll just raid Sparky Pilot. How about that? Well, I want to thank you again for coming along tonight as the sun goes down in Ireland and we bid the Emerald Isle to fair adieu on St. Patrick's Day.